Alright, okay, welcome to this lesson with Teacher Kamanga in biology. Alright, so in our today's lesson, we're going to look through the endocrine system. So now, to understand the endocrine system, we have the question which was extracted from 2017 GCE past paper. Alright, so we have this question, which is question number 2. The question states, figure 2.1 and figure 2.2 shows two endocrine glands, P label Q respectively. So we have the two glands. We have the one that is on top there, and also we have this one. So mostly the kidneys, they occur in pairs. There is another kidney there. Then we need to understand to say on top again, these adrenal lines, they mostly occur on top of the kidneys. So we need to understand. Okay. Then this one, we have what we call the pancreas. Okay. So the pancreas also, it is a gland. All right. So the first question is this one is saying identify the glands labeled gland P and Q. P and Q, okay. So P, we have said it's adrenal gland, then also Q is the pancreas. So this one is adrenal, this one is pancreas, okay. So we need to understand like that. All right. So we would have answered the first one. Okay. The second one, we're saying state one hormone produced by each gland. State one hormone produced by each gland. So the adrenal gland, it will produce adrenaline hormone. Okay, adrenal gland, it produces the adrenaline hormone. Okay, and when you look at the hormone produced by the gland Q, which is the pancreas, it produces the glucagon hormone, or it also produces the insulin hormone. So it's the one that is responsible for the production of the glucagon and also the insulin. So the first one, gland P, we've said it produces adrenaline. Number 2, insulin and glucagon. All right, let's come to this one. They were saying explain how the hormone produced by gland P stated in A2 above plays a role in coordination. So we also need to explain how does this play a role in coordination. Okay, so what we need to understand is that most what happens is that when a hormone has been produced by a gland, which is labeled P, the same that we've said is adrenaline. So if a hormone has been produced by the gland P, it deviates blood from changing to glucogen to glucose. Okay, so blood needs to change from glucagon to glucose. Now this, as it is happening, thereby it increases the glucose levels in the blood, because we have understand that the storage form of glucose, it's glucagon. So the glucogen to be changed into glucose, it is going to increase the levels of glucose in the blood. Okay, that must be used for the gut and also the muscles. All right, now what also we need to understand, as the muscles are using this glucose in the blood, it is using them for constriction of the blood vessels, and also in the gut, and also for dilating the blood vessels of the muscles. So this blood that contains glucose, the glucose now needs to be used in the body by various actions. Okay, also what we need to understand is that it dilates the pupils, the eyes, for increased alertness, and also it also increases the sensitivity of the nervous system for faster responses to stimuli. Okay, so what normally happens is that when the adrenal gland has been produced, there is a number of things that will probably would have taken place, where we are seeing there will be rapid constriction of the muscles, and also there will be direction of the pupils to alert for increase in alertness. There will be sensitivity. Okay, so those are some of the things that we need to understand to say this is how this hormone is going to play in coordination. We can still give an example to say, for instance, if we are threatened with a dog that is just coming, without your noticing that the dog that is coming to back, the adrenal line is going to be produced, so that you yourself, now you prepare yourself whether you're going to fight that dog or you're going to fright, meaning you're going to run away. So that's why this hormone, sometimes it is called the hormone for fright and fight. Okay, so when explaining this answer, this question, the most thing that we need to talk about, number one, we're talking about the change, the direction of the change of the glucagon to glucose. which will in turn increase the glucose levels in the blood. Now, when the glucose levels in the blood have been increased, they are going to be used by the muscles for constriction and also of the blood vessels. Okay. Then also what we need to understand is that there will be also an increase in sensitivity of the nervous system for faster responses to stimuli or changes in the environment. So those are some of the things that we need to understand when answering this question. Let's come to our D. We're saying explain the other law played by gland Q apart from producing hormones. So the gland Q, which is the pancreas, also plays a very important role in digestion. Okay, it plays a very important role in digestion. So now what we mostly need to understand is that during the said process for digestion, normally the pancreas produces what we call the pancreatic juice, which contains an enzyme which we call the pancreatic amylase that breaks down starch to maltose. Okay, so this is how this gland Q is going to play a role in the digestive system. So mostly, as we're answering this question as well, we just need to be straightforward. We're just going to say the gland Q plays a role in digestion system by increasing pancreatic juice, which contains an enzyme that we call pancreatic amylase, and it breaks down starch to maltose. We would have answered this question as it was needed to be answered like that. Okay, so what is important is that when we are answering questions like this, we do not need to forget the biological terms that we're supposed to use, so that our answers will be able to be seen to say we are biologists as we are answering, not general answers. Okay, so this has been Teacher Kamanga with you in biology. Have a lovely evening.